Amazon activists mourn death of man of the whole, last of his tribe.
Here's a summary of the article.
An unidentified and charismatic indigenous man thought to have been the last of his tribe has died in the Brazilian Amazon, causing consternation among activists lamenting the loss of another ethnic language and culture. The solitary and mysterious man was known only as the Indio de Barraco, or the indigenous man of the whole, because he spent much of his existence hiding or sheltering in pits he dug in the ground. Officials know very little about the man, but his determined independence and evident solace helped create a mystique around him that captured the attention of activists and media across Brazil and around the world. Because he had placed brightly colored feathers around his body, the official believes the man had prepared for death. OPI said FNI officials first noticed the man in the mid-1990s. The discovery led FNI to fence off an area where the man could live unhindered, and in 1997 the Tanari Reserve was formally created. The number of invasions registered on indigenous land rose from 109 in 2018 to 305 last year, according to the rights group CIMI. Bolsonaro has long made his contempt for indigenous peoples clear, once saying Brazil had erred by not decimating native peoples like the U.S. cavalry did.
This post received a score of 4,300, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
People are trash. Spoiler, they believe that sometime in the 1980s, illegal ranchers, after leaving initial offerings of sugar, gave the tribe rat poison that killed all bar the man of the whole.
Yeah, no wonder he was terrified of outside people and wouldn't accept their gifts.
Greater than Bolsonaro has long made his contempt for indigenous peoples clear, once saying Brazil had erred by not decimating native peoples like the U.S. cavalry did. The fact that such a statement is not automatically disqualifying for every political figure everywhere in the world is heartbreaking. I'm sorry that he had to live and die alone because everyone he knew and loved was murdered.
Forgive my ignorance, but is this contempt and racism against native people a commonly held societal belief in Brazil? What does it stem from?
Like everything in the world. Money. And power. But mostly money. And being white privilege doesn't hurt. They literally feel godlike above all they perceive to be lesser people.
It's incredibly sad that he, the last of his people, prepared his own deathbed in accordance with his people's customs.
At least he left this world on his own terms. Very sad, but also beautiful.
Beautiful indeed.
Imagine being the only survivor of your tribe?
For 30+ years too?
Yeah, as tragic as it is to be the last to die, it feels more tragic still to be the last to live. In long and enduring contemplation of what was lost and will cease to be remembered by anyone when you are gone.
Considering that him placing colored feathers around his body was preparation for his death, it might have been something else altogether in his mind.
Yes, I like to think he had a completely different outlook on life and death than any Western person. Someone was surprised he didn't seek vengeance, and my first thought was he probably didn't have a revenge mindset like some of us would. Could be completely wrong, but this is what I would like to believe because of how tragic the situation sounds to us outsiders.
This is rather sad. I'm from a town which is named after an extinct tribe, and I will always be affected by stories like this. My first question was, what was his name?
There was a story about a Native American man who was the last of his tribe. His recorded name is Ishi, which is a moniker, because in Yahi culture one did not speak their own name until formally introduced by another of the tribe. However, none were left to speak his name for him.
This is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. This is fundamentally an alien invasion. As far as this poor fellow was concerned, he was the last man alive, and it was the end of the world.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.